Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. Today I'm going to be grinding all of the hard scale off of the knife for Huts Gaming, as well as doing a bit of polishing and some beveling for the blade. Right now what you're seeing me do is put a block of wood in the vise so I can set the knife on it and use a clamp to clamp the knife to the block of wood so it's got some give, and I can use an angle grinder to pull all the scale off. Now, scale is iron oxide that forms during the forging process, and it's usually really difficult to get rid of using normal sandpaper or even a file at any speed. So I usually just use an angle grinder really quickly and well, as you're about to see, clamp it down and then grind away. So I'm gonna also be showing a lot of this stuff in time lapse, so you guys aren't stuck here watching a hour-long video of me just grinding away. So what I'm putting on there right there is a face shield that's also going to filter out a lot of the dust particles. That's something that is extremely important. You always want to wear PPE. That's what I'm showing you right there, is putting that stuff on. I'm also taking off the 2 rings that I'm wearing because that's extremely dangerous to have any sort of ring or anything that can get caught by moving machinery, because that's how you lose fingers. And I like all my fingers right where they are. So I'm setting up the angle grinder, and I'm just going to be using it to quickly grind off the scale. I'm going to speed this up for you, and when I get done that, I'll slow it back down and continue talking. So now I'm moving over to my sanding wheel, and what I'm going to be doing here is just trying to create a flat surface on the knife, take off all the high spots so I've got something nice and easy to work with, rather than needing to work around all these lumps and curves. And I use a wooden disc so it has a little bit of give, but not enough to, leave the high spots in there. And all I'm going to be doing is just going back and forth, using a magnet to hold on to the knife so I don't burn myself, and just keep working away. And then I'm going to switch over to clamping it back down onto that chunk of wood and using a file to pull out any of the high spots that I can't get out using the sandpaper. And I usually tend to just file the entire knife, draw file the entire knife, to make sure everything's nice and perfectly flat, and then I run back over to the sander, use my 80 grit again now that everything's kind of been roughed out, and then I'll start polishing it. And I'll probably polish it up to about 120 grit to 220 grit, and then I will take it back to the forge, heat it up, quench it, so that I get a good nice hard edge, temper it, which gets rid of some of the hardness in the edge but makes the knife overall more durable. And by durability I mean it's able to take a much larger beating without snapping. And tempering causes this by getting rid of some of the hardness and basically making the spine of the knife softer so that it can absorb more of an impact. Now, the style of knife that I'm making here is just a kind of very generic bushcraft knife. So I'm going with the assumption that it's going to be used to, you know, cut, chop, maybe even split small logs. So I want it to be really, really durable, and that's what I'm going for. So I'm going to continue to work away on this knife. And when we get back to filing, I'll do a quick kind of intro as to what I'm doing there. But for right now, we'll speed it up again. So here I am, ready to start using a file to plane off all of the large high spots that I couldn't get out just using my sander. So I'm going to again clamp it down onto the piece of wood, and I'm going to grab my file, and all you're going to see me do is just, I'm going to be pushing back and forth on the file. Well, actually I'm not going to be pushing back and forth. Every time you see me go forwards, I'm letting the file dig in and cut everything it needs to out. But every time I go backwards, I'm actually picking the file up, because if you drag the file backwards over a piece of metal, you will actually make it go dull very quickly. And when we're working on knives, that's really something that you don't want, because knives tend to be very hard, and running out of files can be bad. we'll say it can get bad, really. Anyway, you guys probably don't want to watch me sit here and file for an hour or so. So, I'm going to speed this up.
To
now that I'm done with the filing, I'm going to go back over to my sander. I'm going to be using an 80 grit sanding disc, well, the same disc that I was using initially, to grind out all of the file markings and scratches. And then I will be switching to a 220 grit sanding disc to further polish it out before I heat treat the blade. So run it through a couple normalizing cycles, and then I will temper it, or quench it and then temper it, sorry. So I'm just gonna let this play, and I'll see you guys near the end of the video. So I've just about finished polishing up the blade to a 220 grit finish. I will be further polishing it up to close to 1,000 grit finish after I've heat treated and tempered it. But for right now, 220 is about as high as I need it. And I want to take a moment to thank everyone for watching the video. If you like it, give it a like. Maybe subscribe to the channel if you want. Let me know if there's any other things that you guys would like me to try and make. I'm going to try and video and be as active in the comments as I possibly can. I'm also going to be doing live streams on Twitch under the same name, 13 Ravens Forge. And you guys can come and hang out there. Most of the stuff that I'll be making is little bracelets and bottle openers and simple stuff. But anyway, thanks a bunch for watching the video, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.